here we are, part 3, e-learning lesson 2. I hope you persevered with the interactive exercises and that you make notes on what you're learning. Stanza 2 is short and sweet. Turn home, the sun goes down. Swimmer, turn home. Last leaf of gold vanishes from the sea curve. Take the big roller's shoulder, speed and serve. Come to the Long Beach home like a doll diving. Now, the first thing to notice in the first line is that the first phrase, turn home, like the subject. You know, traditionally we've talked in English about how the English construction has a subject, a verb and an object, but the subject of the verb, turn, is implied, not stated, and the subject is surfer, turn home. And then she gives us the reason, the sun goes down. Swimmer, turn home. So the repetition of turn home conveys a sense of urgency, and it's also implied warning as the nature of the sea changes at sunset. The repetition at the beginning of this stanza signals a shift in content and emotion from stanza 1. In stanza 1, she was focused on the artistry and the skill and the joy of the surfer. Now she's focusing on the risk to the surfer as sunset approaches. And I want you to notice the way she uses punctuation in line 1, turn home, comma, sun goes down, semicolon, swimmer, comma, turn home. She breaks up smooth flow of ideas with punctuation to add to a sense of urgency and to change the rhythm and flow of what she's been talking about. Because remember, in stanza 1, she was talking about the artful surfing movement of the surfer. So now the sound has changed because she's talking about the risk to the surfer. Turn home, the sun goes down, swimmer. He's no longer a surfer, he has been down in the surf. Turn home. Last leaf of gold vanishes from the sea curve. The sea curve emphasises the surf waves are part of a greater whole, the sea. And she constantly keeps us focused on the enormity of the sea, the power of the sea, the fact that the sea is so much greater than the surfer. Last leaf of gold vanishes. Now, this is a metaphor in which Wright compares the last light of sunset to the last leaf of autumn. And remember in class, we talked about the fact that when autumn comes, it's not, trees aren't green one day and then plop, all the leaves have fallen off the next day. In autumn, the loss of leaves is over a period of time. So drawing on this autumnal metaphor is really important. Last leaf of gold vanishes. She's talking about the light from the sunset on the waves. It's the last leaf. In other words, life has been failing in this for quite a while, and that the light that the surfer is moving in and surfing in is diminishing. And now it's the last leaf of gold. Darkness is imminent. Take the big roller's shoulder, speed and serve. She uses repetition to tie together the two ideas. Last leaf of gold vanishes from the sea curve. Take the big roller's shoulder, speed and curve. She uses that rhyme to tie those two ideas together. Or that night's almost here. Take this wave, come home quickly, speedily. Let it serve you. The effect of the tempo of this stanza increases after the first line, and it mirrors the need for haste that the poet sees in the swelling waves, the sea curve. I want you to notice the personification of the wave by giving it a human quality, a shoulder. I also want you to notice the rhyme of big roller shoulder, and it slows down the line and adds to the image of the growing waves at sunset. The big roller's shoulder. So you get this idea of surging water and surging waves. Come to the Long Beach home like a gull diving. Normally, the word order would be come home to the Long Beach like a gull diving, but Wright wants to emphasise the need to return home. And she's done this in two ways. She's repeated home twice in the first line, once in the last line, and she's changed the normal word order of the sentence construction so that the order of the words places emphasis on home. Come to the Long Beach home like a gull diving. And the lack of punctuation in this line also creates a free-flowing, subtle rhythm, and it suggests and imitates the desired glide of the surfer to the shore. I just love this poem. Now, what can we learn about the craft of writing from stanza 2? Well, you begin a new stanza, or if you were doing prose, a new paragraph, whenever there is a shift, change in the content, the idea, or the emotion. And we use white space, just as I'm using white space around this text, because white space around text is a design element that makes it easier for us to read, absorb, and understand what we're seeing and what we're reading. And too many of you write long slabs of text. You need to do what Wright does. Every time there's a shift or a change in content, idea, or emotion, begin a new stanza or begin a new paragraph. I want you to notice that short sentences add punch to writing, and they're a great way to emphasize a point or an idea or an emotion. And also note that varying word order can add emphasis to an idea or a point. And by contrast, longer sentences add free-flowing, uninterrupted rhythm to the writing. What we want you to be doing in your imaginative writing is we want you to be thinking about the length of your sentences. We want you to be thinking about your word order, and we want you to be thinking about when you use punctuation and what is the effect of punctuation. Okay, now you're going to go on to the interactive exercises set for part 2. Thank you.